Hey, welcome back to the channel. Instead of going out and taking a look at neighborhoods today, I thought we'd stay in the house and go over a couple first-time homebuyer tips. So stick with us and let's dive into it. Today, I'm sharing 7 things that every Michigan homebuyer should know before they make their first offer. Michigan has unique loan programs, property taxes, inspections, and winter issues that can cost you thousands if you don't take them into account. If you stay until the end, I'm going to share with you a new exciting development in lending that I think is sure to help a lot of new first-time home buyers in purchasing their first home. Hello everyone, my name is Michael Geyer. I'm a local realtor here in the greater Lansing area, and every week I put out videos to help buyers and sellers navigate the market here in Michigan when it comes to real estate. And if you're thinking of buying anywhere here in Michigan, whether you're from the state or from out of state, I'd be more than happy to help. Shoot me a message. All my contact information is in the comments below, and I'd be happy to have a conversation, whether if you're looking to buy in 6 months, maybe a year, or looking to sell. We can get you on the right path and start strategizing and see if I'm a good fit for you. So please reach out if you're interested. And with that, let's get to our tips. Tip number 1, Michigan has many buyer programs that most people never hear about. This is probably the biggest surprise for many first-time home buyers. Many people think they need at least 20% down. That's simply not true. Michigan offers several programs to help assist in covering the upfront costs of buying a home. Depending on your situation, you may qualify for down payment assistance, reduced interest rate programs, low down payment conventional loans, FHA loans, or even VA loans if you've served in the military. Many buyers think that they're years away from being able to buy a house because they don't know about these programs, and they might be a lot closer than they think. The biggest mistake is assuming you're not ready to buy a home before talking to a lender, because they might tell you otherwise. Tip number 2, Michigan winters hide expensive problems. I always tell my buyers, a beautiful house in July might not tell the same story come December or January. When buying in Michigan, there's a few things you really need to consider that you might not consider when purchasing in other states. First is roof age. Second, foundation cracks. Third, water intrusion. Fourth, basement moisture. Fifth, sump pumps and the conditions of said sump pumps. 6, the drainage around the home. Does it even exist? 7, the age of the furnace. Because come winter, you really need that thing to be working, trust me. And 8, windows. Are they single pane, double pane, and when was the last time they were replaced? Because heat can escape through windows quite easily come the winter time. And number 9 is insulation. Keeping the heat inside your house in the winter is very important. And a lot of older houses, they still have insulation just that's sawdust. They're not even actually using modern insulation because they haven't been updated since they were built. Something we definitely want to take a look at. These are all things that become very expensive after your first winter and can leave you suffering through your first winter if you don't plan ahead. Tip number 3, don't let property taxes catch you by surprise. Here's something that surprises almost every single first-time home buyer that I work with in Michigan. You're scrolling online, looking at Zillow or Realtor.com, and you're seeing the taxes that the current owner's paying, and you're assuming that that's what you would have to take on if you were to buy that house. But that's simply not the way it always works out here in Michigan, and here's why. Michigan has a property tax system that limits how quickly property taxes can increase on a homeowner's property. And that's great for long-term owners because it helps keep down property taxes and rewards you for holding on to your property long-term. However, for first-time home buyers, they might be quite surprised to find that after buying the house and having it appraised at a higher rate by the city or township, that their new taxes are going to reflect that new value that the city or township has put on the house. This means that the new owner's taxes can be significantly higher than the old owner's, and using just the old owner's taxes to decide on whether or not you can afford the property taxes can be quite misleading. After any house sale in Michigan, the taxable value is reset. So although you might be paying on the old taxes for the first year that you own the house, if you buy the year, say, in the middle of it, And if you're not prepared for these tax changes, then your mortgage might end up being a little bit higher than you were prepared for, which can cause hardship, something that we definitely want to avoid when we're making these types of decisions. Tip number 4, Michigan sellers expect buyers to be prepared. Although the market isn't as crazy as it was a few years ago, houses still move very quick here in Michigan. So to make sure that you have the best chance of getting the house you want, there's a few things you want to prepare and have ready before you start your house hunting search. For starters, you're going to want a lender unless you're paying in cash. Number 2, you're going to want to be pre-approved. Very important. And number 3, you're going to need proof of funds to let the seller know that you're serious and that you have the money to be able to afford that down payment. And number 4 is an agent to help the process go smoothly and to help you avoid any mishaps along the way. The best homes in Michigan can still sell very quickly. I just got done closing on a house that was listed for only about 7 days before we got an offer and went pending. That's not the most common, but it's also not unheard of. So being prepared before starting to search for a home is a great advantage to have. By the way, if you're finding this video helpful, go ahead and hit the like and subscribe button and help other Michigan buyers around the state find this channel so I can help them as well. Thanks. Tip number 5, do not ignore the basement. This one's important, and everyone that already lives in Michigan knows why this one's important. If you're moving from another state, Michigan basements are completely normal. What's a Michigan basement, you might ask? Well, we will definitely be making another video on that at some point, but let's just say not all basements are created the same and not all are equal. During showings, I always encourage buyers to look for a few things. Here's a list of the most important things to check for in that basement. Number 1, water stains. Number 2, foundation movement. Number 3, musty smells. Number 4, previous repairs. Number 5, sump pump condition, if the house has a sump pump. Number 6, evidence of flooding. And that's going to be one of the biggest, because if the basement's flooded before, there's a good chance it can flood again if it hasn't had the proper repairs. And repairs to be done properly can be costly. This is something that's definitely worth catching early. Overall, the basement tells a story of how well the home has been maintained. It's a great indicator for what you're getting in the rest of the house. And tip number 6, think about snow before you buy. Here's a few things that only Michigan buyers really appreciate. You got to ask yourself the following. Who's plowing your road? How steep is the driveway? Is the property north facing? How far is your commute during the winter? Does your neighborhood get cleared quickly? These are things you won't think about in June, but will definitely be on your mind come December and January, trust me. One tip I like to give new buyers is if you're looking somewhere that's more urban or suburban, looking for houses near a bus line, those streets tend to be the ones that get cleared the earliest in the morning by the city. And if getting out of your neighborhood on time to get to work is important to you, buying somewhere near a bus line can be a way to ensure that. And finally, tip number 7, you're buying more than just a house. I always try to tell my buyers, you're not just buying 4 walls and a roof, you're buying a neighborhood and a community. Before purchasing, spend time exploring. Things that you're going to want to check out are things like parks, walking trails, local cuisine, local shopping centers. If you're a parent, obviously school system's quite important if you have kids, and anything else that might be going on in the community, like community events and community centers that you might be able to take advantage of. One of my favorite things about being a realtor is introducing people to different communities and neighborhoods that they never even knew existed. And that's why I like to do my neighborhood tour videos on this channel and give insight to people who might not have heard of any of these neighborhoods before and see if it's something that they would be interested in. Now, on to something that I promised at the start of the video, something that I think is going to help many first-time home buyers going forward. Something that surprises a lot of first-time home buyers is that not all mortgage lenders use the same credit scoring curriculum. We're all familiar with FICO, and FICO is standard when it comes to credit score. You've probably had your FICO checked when buying a car or if you've owned any property in the past. But now, some lenders are starting to look at what is called the Vantage score. So why does that matter? Well, FICO and Vantage score both look at a lot of the same things on your credit history. They both look at your credit card balances, your account history, whether your payments have been on time, and take these into factor. But they don't weigh those factors exactly the same way. That means it's completely possible for someone to have a higher Vantage score than they do a FICO score. And this can go a long way in getting you a better rate for your mortgage or to get pre-approved for a higher amount. Vantage puts more weight on things like previous payment history, such as your rent and utility payments, that FICO doesn't put nearly as much weight on. And this is extremely helpful because most folks that are looking to buy their first house have already been renting and paying utilities for years, long before they think about making a purchase. And for some buyers, especially those with shorter credit history and that are really just starting their financial journey, this can make quite the impact. A stronger Vantage score may let a lender see your overall credit picture in a much more positive light. This may open up financing opportunities that wouldn't have been available to you if it was a lender that was only using FICO. An example one of my preferred lenders shared with me was someone who had scored about 611 on FICO but was able to achieve 736 on Vantage with the exact same criteria. That's a bigger jump than you would usually expect. And I'm not saying that FICO to Vantage is always going to be that much of a jump, but it just kind of goes to show that this is an avenue definitely worth looking into if you're a first-time home buyer and if you don't have a lot of credit or your credit score isn't where you want it to be. This is why I always tell first-time home buyers to talk to a qualified and knowledgeable lender before giving up on the idea of home ownership. You might just be closer to buying your first house than you think. So that's going to do it and round out our 7 tips on this video. Hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you found those tips useful. If so, go ahead, like and subscribe, and we'll catch you on the next one. Take care. Not sure where you want to live yet? Click on this video next, where I tour one of my favorite communities in mid-Michigan. It might be the perfect place for your first home.